The first tank I ever kept was not a pond. It was a single sheet of glass in the corner of a cold Niigata house, and I killed everything in it in 9 days. 11 neon tetras. I still remember the number because I counted them into that tank myself, one by one, the proudest afternoon of my young life. Small fish, a flicker of blue and red, darting through stems I had planted with my own hands. The water was so clear it looked like there was nothing there at all. 9 days, that is how long they lived. I came down one morning and found them scattered across the gravel, and I stood there waiting for the water to explain itself. It never did. It was clear. It was bright. The plants were still reaching for the light. Whatever killed them left no mark I could see, and left every fish dead. I filled that tank on a Saturday and dropped the fish in on Sunday, 9 days old, start to finish. When I buried them, my father did not scold me. He only said the tank was not finished yet, and I had no idea what he meant. That was long ago. I have not lost a tank that way since, and it was never luck. Those 11 fish taught me 10 things I now do before a single fish enters any new aquarium. Learn them, and your first planted tank will not end the way mine did. But first, honesty about number 1. It is the most important thing on this list, and the one almost every beginner skips. Do the other 9 perfectly, and miss it, and the killer that empties more first tanks than anything I know is already waiting in yours. Maybe not the first day, maybe not the first week, but in a new tank it always comes. And when it does, your water will look you in the eye, clear, clean, plants thriving, and swear everything is fine while your fish die on the gravel. That is exactly the night my 11 died. So stay to the end. Let me make certain it never happens to you. I am Isamu Yoshida, 3rd generation on the water. My family has kept koi in the snow country of Niigata for 200 years, and my father spent 50 of them beside the ponds. Before he died, he made me copy everything he knew into one notebook. Every measure, every season, every mistake. The glass tank in the corner was mine, but the rules that finally saved it came off his pages. This channel is me keeping that promise. And here is the first hard truth. Keeping a planted tank alive was never difficult. It only became difficult the day an industry realized it could sell you 100 bottles and gadgets to do the work that plants, bacteria, and a little patience have always done for free. The old way did not stop working. Someone just made a fortune the day you forgot a tank could keep itself. By the time we are done, you will know why the smallest tank is the most dangerous to start with. Why 1 hour a day decides whether you grow plants or algae. Why the filter you were sold does the opposite of what the box promised. And the invisible thing that kills more first fish than every disease combined. 10 things, counting down to the one that matters most. 3 of them now, so you know what you are staying for. Number 7. Why the greenest tanks are planted like a jungle on the very first day. Number 4. Why the box that cleans your water is really just a house for something alive. And number 1. The killer your own clear water hides that fewer than 1 beginner in 10 ever tests for. Number 10. The tank itself, bigger than the one you are picturing. A big tank is a forgiving tank. Here is why. Every beginner mistake is a mistake of concentration, too much food, a dead fish unseen, a heater that sticks. In 5 gallons, that mistake is undiluted. The water can turn from safe to deadly between breakfast and dinner. In 30, the same mistake barely moves the needle. Small water is fast water, and fast water punishes you for everything you have not learned yet. So do not start where the store points. Start at 20 gallons. 30 is better. Long and low, not tall and narrow, because plants want light on the floor. And forget 1 inch of fish per gallon. It was never true. Aim for half of what you think it holds. The shop steers you to the little cube and the desktop kit. Of course it does, it is cheap, and when it fails you come back for the bigger one you should have bought first. That is not on you. They are good at selling the second tank. Your move, buy the 20, not the 5. Bought once. And a big tank only forgives you if the thing lighting it is set right, where most beginners lose the tank to a green fog. Number 9. Light, the engine of a planted tank, and the most common cause of its first disaster. The rule: light is food, and in a new tank, the wrong thing eats first. Here is what happens under a bright lamp left on all day. Your plants are young and barely rooted. They cannot use all that light yet. Every hour they cannot use is an hour handed to algae, faster, hungrier, needing no roots at all. That green film on the glass is not bad luck. It is light you gave away. So you ration it, 6 to 8 hours a day, on a timer from the first day. Start at 7, low to medium, and only stretch it once the plants are clearly winning. A timer costs $5 and removes the one thing a beginner cannot judge by eye. The store sells the opposite, the high output light, run long so the tank looks bright on the shelf. A strong light over thin new planting is not a feature, it is an algae farm with a warranty. Your move, a $5 timer, 7 hours before you plant a thing. Before I give you number 8, hit like and subscribe, because that is how this reaches the next beginner about to lose their first fish to something completely preventable. Number 8. The substrate, the bed on the bottom. Not decoration. The engine, and it is alive. The rule my father used for pond soil holds for glass. You do not tear apart a living bed. Here is why. Rooted plants feed from the ground first, the way a garden does, and that ground becomes home to the invisible bacteria that will one day keep your fish alive. A handful of colored gravel feeds nothing. A proper bed becomes a working organ of the tank. The measures: 3 for the big root feeders. If you use soil beneath, aquatic plant soil, or plain garden earth, cap it with an inch of sand so it feeds the roots without clouding the water. Then leave it. Do not dig it. Do not vacuum it to death. A deep planted bed is an engine. You do not take an engine apart to clean it. And a fact worth keeping: in 1999, a scientist named Diana Wallstad showed an aquarium can run for years on nothing but a layer of common garden soil under sand, no filter, no fertilizer bottles, no carbon dioxide gas. Dirt and patience, outliving a shelf of equipment. Your move: plan 2 inches capped before you add water. And a rich bed only pays off if you fill it with plants on the right day, the day most beginners get wrong. Number 7. The plants, and the mistake is not which ones, it is how few and how late. The rule: plant it like a jungle on the first day, not a garden filled in slowly. A jungle from hour 1. Here is why the greenest tanks all share it. Plants and algae want the same 2 things, light and nutrients, and whoever gets there first holds it. A few small plants leave most of that food on the table, and algae takes every scrap. A tank packed on day 1 leaves no scraps. The plants eat first, and algae starves in the shade. A heavily planted tank is the easy way, wearing a harder-looking coat. The measures: cover 60 to 80% of the floor on the first day. Lean on the cheap, fast growers: hornwort, water sprite, floaters across the top, the ones that grow like they are angry. If you saw my video on land plants as a filter, you know a pothos with its roots in the water outcleans a machine for a few dollars. And hold on to this: those plants are quietly eating the very thing waiting for you at number 1. Remember that when we get there. Number 6. Your water. Know it before you fight it. The rule my father lived by: you do not keep fish, you keep water. The fish only live in the choice you made. Here is what beginners never check: Your tap has a hardness and a pH, different in every town. Some of you pour liquid rock, some pour water so soft it holds almost nothing. A fish from soft, acidic streams slowly fails in hard water, and a hard water fish fails in soft, not overnight, just a quiet decline you will blame on. So test your tap once before you choose a fish. Learn your hardness, your GH, and your carbonate hardness, your KH. Then make the move almost nobody makes. Choose fish that already want the water you have instead of fighting your tap forever. Soft, acidic tap, tetras and rasboras thrive. Hard water from the ground, guppies and platies will love you for it. And keep your KH off the floor, a little buffer, above roughly 50 parts per million, keeps the whole tank steady. The store's answer to wrong water is 2 bottles, pH up and pH down, that fight each other forever, a problem you rent by the month. Nobody bottles the tap. Your move, test your tap this week, then pick fish that match it. And once you know your water, you must hold it steady, because the fastest way to kill a tropical fish is not the wrong temperature, it is a moving one. Number 5. Heat, and a fish rarely dies of cold. It dies of the swing. The rule, steady beats warm. A stable 74 keeps fish that a bouncing 78 kills. Here is the mechanism. A tropical fish holds no heat of its own. Its body and its immune system run at the water's temperature. Hold it steady and the fish stays strong. Let it climb by day and fall by night, a cheap heater clicking on too late, a cold room pulling it down, and every swing taxes the fish until its defenses drop and disease walks in. The cold did not kill it, the moving did. The measures, set 76 to 78 for most community fish, and buy for wattage, 3 to 5 watts per gallon, and do what my aquarium video taught, run 2 smaller heaters instead of 1 large. If one sticks off, the other holds the floor. If one sticks on, it is too small to cook the tank. 2 small heaters are cheaper than 1 funeral. Your move, 2 small heaters and a stick-on thermometer this week. And heat is one machine. The next is the one you were told cleans your water, the most misunderstood object in the hobby. Number 4. The filter, and it does almost the opposite of what the box told you. The rule, a filter does not clean your water. It gives something alive a place to live. Here is what no beginner hears at the counter. The real work is done by bacteria, invisible colonies that turn fish waste from poison into something plants can drink. They need a surface with water flowing through it, and that is all a filter truly is, a home with a current. The sponge inside is not a strainer to throw, it is the most valuable thing in your tank, because it is where your fish's life support lives. Which is why the worst advice in the hobby is printed on the box: replace the cartridge every month. Throw out the cartridge, and you throw out the colony. You reset the tank to day 1, to the exact danger that killed my 11, and pay for it monthly. The cartridge is not a filter part, it is a subscription. Your move, whatever filter you have, never throw the sponge away. Before we go on, a video can hold a rule. It cannot hold everything behind it, the exact dose for your water, the price of every material, the honest limit of every method, and the dozens of setups I have never put on this channel. My father kept all of it in one notebook, because a tank goes wrong in a single night, and one night does not leave you time to search the internet for an answer. That notebook is now an ebook, hundreds of pages, pay once, no subscription, yours forever. It is in the description. I will not mention it again. All right, back to it. And a living filter, steady heat, a jungle of plants. None of it matters if you rush the one thing a new tank refuses to be rushed on. Number 3. Stocking. A tank is stocked over months, not on opening day. The rule: add fish slowly, and fewer than you want. always fewer. Here is why timing is everything. A new tank is a young system with barely any of that invisible life support yet. Every fish makes waste, and that waste must be handled by a colony that has not finished growing. Add 3 fish, and the young tank keeps up. Dump in a full load on day 1, the way you will badly want to. Once the tank is ready, and I will tell you exactly what ready means in a moment, add fish in small groups, a few every 2 weeks. Understock on purpose. A tank that looks a little empty to you looks like open water to them. Let the colony grow to match each new mouth. The store wants to sell you a full community in one trip, the big sale, the cart full of bags. It is also the fastest way home to a tank that is empty again by the weekend. Your move: buy the tank and plants today. Buy the fish a month from now. Which brings us to the last thing between you and the killer, the one tool that sees what your eyes cannot. Number 2. The test kit, the one tool your tank cannot lie to. The rule: clear water is not safe water. Your eyes are the wrong instrument. Here is the whole trap of a new tank. The things that kill your first fish are colorless and odorless. Here is the whole trap of a new tank. The things that kill your first fish are colorless and odorless. Ammonia and nitrite pour invisibly from every fish and every scrap of food, and water full of them looks exactly like water that is safe, gin clear, bright, plants waving. You will stand before a tank killing its fish and see nothing wrong because there is nothing to see. That is not a failure of attention, it is a failure of the tool. Your eyes cannot see this enemy, so you buy the instrument that can. A liquid test kit, not the paper strips which lie cheaply, but the liquid drops, about $10, which tell the truth. It reads ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate, the 3 numbers that run a tank's whole life. And the rule is simple: before any fish, ammonia and nitrite must read 0. After the fish, they must stay 0. When they don't, the kit warns you days before the fish would. The store will sell you strips that read fine no matter what, and a conditioner labeled to sound like it does the job. Nothing in a bottle replaces the number your eyes can't see. Your move: buy the $10 liquid kit before a single fish. Now do all 9 perfectly. Do every one right, and your first fish can still be dead by Friday, in water clear enough to read through. That is exactly what happened to my 11, which leaves number 1. Everything so far a careful beginner can learn to see. What comes now is invisible to every sense you own, and it is why most first tanks die. Go back with me to that glass tank in the cold Niigata corner. 11 neon tetras, water clear enough to read through, plants growing. 9 days old, filled on Saturday, stocked on Sunday. Every fish dead by the next week, with nothing I could see. Here is what I could not see. A fish never stops making waste, and that waste leaves the body as ammonia. Ammonia is poison, colorless, odorless, lethal in amounts far too small to cloud the water. In a finished tank, an invisible bacteria eats that ammonia and turns it to nitrite. Nitrite is also poison, so a second bacteria eats that and turns it to nitrate, which is mild and which your plants then drink as food. That chain is the nitrogen cycle, the true engine of every aquarium alive. But in a brand new tank, those bacteria do not exist yet. They have to grow, and growing takes weeks. I had built a beautiful room with no one living in it to do the work. My fish poured ammonia into water that had nothing to remove it, and it climbed, invisibly, until it burned their gills from the inside, while the tank looked like a photograph. The water was not finished. That is what my father meant. You built the garden, he said, and forgot the soil has to come alive first. And now you see why number 7 mattered. Your plants eat ammonia too. A heavily planted tank is not just prettier, it is your ally against this very killer. carrying the load while the bacteria catch up. Here is the fix, and it costs almost nothing but time. You cycle the tank before the fish, you grow the bacteria first. Set the tank up planted and running, and feed it a pinch of fish food, or a few drops of pure ammonia, as if invisible fish lived there. The bacteria come to eat it. You test with that $10 kit and wait, usually 4 to 6 weeks, until you can add ammonia and watch it fall to 0 within a day, nitrite at 0.2. That is a finished tank. You can shortcut it, a squeezed sponge or a handful of gravel from an established healthy tank carries a living colony and cuts the wait to days. The store's answer is a bottle of conditioner and a bag of fish on the same afternoon, sold, as if the water were ready the moment you filled it. Your tank's all set, just add the fish. That one sentence has killed more first fish than every disease combined. And this is not my folklore. Every fish scientist, every university extension bulletin prints this same cycle in the same order. My father had it in a notebook decades earlier. That is not superstition, that is confirmation. Sold as if the water were ready the moment you filled it. Your tank's all set, just add the fish. That one sentence has killed more first fish than every disease combined. And this is not my folklore. Every fish scientist, every university extension bulletin prints this same cycle in the same order. My father had it in a notebook decades earlier. That is not superstition, that is confirmation. So there are your 10. Do not try to do all 10 this weekend. Start with the smallest door. Before you buy one fish, buy the $10 test kit and give your planted tank 4 weeks to come alive on its own. Test until ammonia and nitrite read 0. That first 0 is your first save. Tell me in the comments, which of the 10 did you not know? 1 through 10. The number that comes up most is the one I go deeper on next. Share this with one person about to set up their first tank, just one. It may save their fish.